John. Welcome everyone to today's X Space. I'm Rocky, your host today and a member of the business development team at Mighty DAO. It's so wonderful to meet all of you guys here. Before we dive in, let me take a moment to introduce Mighty DAO. Our core mission is to connect the high quality talents with opportunities in the Web3 industry, bridging the gap between skilled professionals and positions across the Web3 landscape, while offering the latest career insights in the space. Through our Web3 career series, we hope to inspire your journey forward. Today marks another exciting episode of our Inside Web3 career series. We have a truly special guest with us, John Olumuyiwa Abereoje, Web3 payment and GTM leader at Alexis John Consulting. What makes John's story so compelling is his remarkable journey. He brings nearly 10 years of operations and management experience, having started his career as a hotel general manager before making a bold and decisive move into the Web3 infrastructure space. Today, John focuses on three key areas: helping global businesses enter emerging African markets, turning stablecoins into real business settlement tools, and connecting e-invoicing with automated compliance systems. John, thank you so much for joining us today. We're truly looking forward to hearing your story. Let's get started. Could you take a moment to introduce yourself and share a little bit about your journey? How did you find yourself going from hotel management all the way into Web3? Yeah.
Yes. Once again, I'm very, very delighted to be on this platform. I appreciate and commend the wonderful team for putting this great career series together. And just like you rightly established, my name is John Abereoje, and I've been in at the intersection of um, businesses. My business experience spans across many industries, where I started from telecoms to fintech and hospitality, as the case may be. And like you rightly said, I made a bold step from hospitality into Web3 after gaining insights into the financial capabilities that Web3 could offer in terms of from the traditional finance systems to um, de- decentralized finance systems. I happen to have worked in a financial software company called Precise Financial Systems, and from there it gave birth the concept or the desire to be included in the financial landscape. And as such, it's kind of positioned me to make this leap. And to start with, I also have a foundational knowledge. I have a BSc in mathematics. So all of that has, one way or the other, positioned me for this leap.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you so much, John, for your insights. My next question is from Web 2 to Web 3. What was it like making that switch, and what were some of the real challenges you faced along the way?
Yes, the challenges, the switch actually is a mindset. It's a mindset thing. Once you are able to, the real challenge actually is when you are able to wrap your mind around the concepts and fundamentals of the blockchain ideology. Now, it demanded that I had to put myself through some education or some form of education to understand the terms and the how things work in Web3. And the challenges also was trying to be able to. The industry is revolving around trust, so you need to be able to build credibility. You need to be able to build trust, and it's something that you do from bottom up, not top down. So those are things that form the sort of challenges, but I was able to overcome over time.
It was really inspiring just to like hear that you're going from one atmosphere that's totally irrelated to Web3 into this. My next question would really be on the question regarding expectation versus the real thing kind of thing. Before stepping into the Web3 business development role, what did you imagine it would be like, and how did the reality really surprise you?
Yes, to be honest, Web3 is very chaotic, and there's a lot of different things that are happening so fast that you really need to kind of get a grip on. So, in order to do that, I started studying materials, following communities on Twitter, started um, ensuring, putting my head down to learn from different YouTubers, and that kind of gave me the confidence to be able to make that leap. Because in Africa here, especially Nigeria, the the Web3 is usually tied to cryptocurrencies, right? And because of that notion, it's basically not as mainstream as your normal day-to-day banking transaction is. So you would always need somebody to guide you along the way.
Wow, that's cool, John. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of jobs I did before that's totally irrelated. And I can totally relate to you that you need a mentor and you need someone to lead you and guide you into a newer space, especially when you are doing things that might be very differentiated towards to the status quo. For example, the Web3 industry is entirely a new thing for this past 10 years, and a lot of people still haven't heard about it. And I believe a lot of people who stay up to date are really looking for opportunities and also had been able to find mentors and basically career leaders and people who had done a lot in this atmosphere to help them get into it. So very very helpful to say that. And my next question towards to you, John, is something more specific, right? Uh, I kind of just want to know, how do you spend every day? Like, I want to have a window into your day. What does a typical day actually look like for you? And how do you usually structure your time? There you go, John. Just to give you guys a little bit of background on John. I met John through Mighty DAO, and oh, John's back. Good.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
John, did you hear my question, John? Do you need me to repeat that, maybe?
I kind of switched it off to hear you properly.
Okay, cool. So I can give my questions towards you again, which is no biggie at all, and it happens all the time when we're meeting across the globe, on the other side of the
Exactly.
world, from Nigeria all the way to Taiwan.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So the question I have is, I want to have a window into your day. I want to know, what does a typical day actually look like for you? How do you usually structure your time? There you go, John. Your time.
Yeah, like I was trying to say, a typical day for me spans around three pillars, and that has to do with compliance advisory. That's because I am involved in e-invoicing compliance, so I have to come cross-check and see some of the contacts I've made over the week, and to try and know the level of stages that they are and qualify them. Then at the same time, I also build pipelines of different segments and customers in the Web3 space. I speak to founders, I speak to startups, all trying to tie um, advisory with startups in order to position them for grants and meet with venture capitalists, so that they are able to see seed funding for their startups. Then the other part of my day, I also use to do market intelligence, because I need to understand what the markets are saying and what the business are saying. And from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning, that's the time where APAC, the Asia Pacific, are already doing business, and around that time, I'm just waking up. So I try to connect with what's happening in those markets. And my afternoon, like I said earlier, I'm already making calls and trying to meet up with some of my partners. At the same time, that's around the time when most of the east coast of America and Europe, even Africa is awake at that time. Then by around say 4 to 7 p.m., the Latin countries are already doing business, and I still reach out to those ones. And at the end of the day, I'm able to build my pipeline and position myself for the next day so that I can close deals and do some negotiation. So that's basically the hallmark of my day as a Web3 payments and go to market leader.
Oh, that sounds very cool. Like, first of all, like doing Web3 in Nigeria, that's just something really unheard of to a lot of people. Um, for me, my first impression towards to Nigeria was back in 2010 South African World Cup. And Nigeria did pretty well in the World Cup, and I came to learn about its economy and this and that. I found out that Web3 and stablecoins could be actually very useful for such economy when the inflations are not actually stable as some of the other more mature economies in the world. So it sounds pretty exciting that you get to meet founders and get to do some acquisition a lot of times. That's some high level work. So my next question to you, John, is what does winning look like to you, and what are the goals you work toward, and how do you personally measure whether you're doing a good job or not? Time for you.
Yeah, yeah. Winning to me basically is being able to close deals. That's the number one thing because that's where the revenue sits, and also being able to ensure adoption of products, of Web3 products. So those are the major things that are more or less like my KPI, and then my metric for winning. So that's what keeps me going actually.
Very good. Yeah, like the part that keeps on going, is always the continuing wins. So for me, like the next question for you, John, would be like which part of your work like do you really enjoy the most? Like what wakes you up like every day and really just puts you to work, and how does like what does it make you feel like very meaningful to you, John?
Yes, what what is actually meaningful to me is actually the use case of Web3, where an importer in Nigeria is able to settle a counterpart or a supplier in somewhere Taiwan or China, with a transaction that is settled quickly, and the payments are made without friction. So once that is able to go successful, it makes me happy. And when you have freelancers are able to collect their money from jobs that or gigs they have done with foreign partners overseas through remote work, they it delights me that there's a form of payment whereby Nigerians are able to have their money and shield it against the volatile nature of inflation in Nigeria.
Yeah, so because I never lived in Nigeria, I mean, I really don't know how much it would impact, but I could only imagine when you do need stable coins for economy to basically, as the name said, stabilize, right, John? And and there are a lot of economies that are so big. Um, there are some big economies in the world are basically not very stable coins friendly, or just not having opening arms towards the crypto at all. And there are some economies like the United States are the spearhead, like the leaders, the pioneers of stable coins, which created a US DC, USDT, and they're also hooking some of the national treasury bills, treasury bonds uh, on on blockchain, and it's a very strange phenomenon right now. It's really not depends on culture, language, or adaptability towards to blockchain. It seems just it's great influenced by policies too. Not only there are countries that really need stablecoin, they're using it, but there are countries that really needs it are not using it. So like how do you think the future of like your company, where do you see yourself heading from here in Nigeria, in West Africa, and what are your plans for your future as a Web3 business developer?
Just responding to your question, and
Yeah, it seems we have a little bit
it's
difficulty.
uh, it's very ironic that some economies that should be using stable coins are quite not friendly with the concept. And Nigeria, so to speak, has inadvertently adapted itself to the use of stablecoins, especially when there was a full ban on crypto in Nigeria. That was sometime in 2021, where the Central Bank of Nigeria put a ban on crypto, and which encouraged people to do peer-to-peer solutions or services. And as a result, Nigeria is number 2 ranked in Web3 adoption in the world. So stablecoins have come to solve a lot of problems in terms of dollar-denominated transactions in Nigeria. Now, go back to your question as to what the future plans may hold. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. My question was basically saying that where do you see yourself heading from here, and what are your plans as a Web3 business developer?
Yes. Well, my future plans or where I see myself is I see my business, Alexis John Consulting, scaling to the level of being able to close key Web3 partnerships globally, and also being able to push stablecoin payments and settlements, especially to those that are not early adopters. So that includes me in the narrative or shaping the things that has to do with stablecoins in Africa and the world as a whole.
Yeah, because for me, I think it's really exciting for the things that you're doing in Africa. For me, I can see from data from 2024 July to 2025 June, which is basically last year, right now. Like the Africa south to Sahara had like a tons of liquidity flowing, and that was on chain with a 52% growth, and just like one of the fastest crypto growing market in the world. Had 205 billion dollars and 52% of a growth. So
That's that,
yeah,
that's
that's
exactly why
crazy.
that's exactly why you should be in Africa. You should be doing business in Africa with us.
Yeah, like you mentioned Taiwan and China. I originally grew up in mainland China. I lived in Europe for 2 years, and I went to the United States for school, and I got married, and I settled there for a few years. I got a few good friends, like right here in the audience. They're from Taiwan too. You know, like a lot of people talk about Web3s and stable coins and this and that. We talk about United States, talk about Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore. Those words like buzzwords ever since like 2016, and also after the DeFi summer a few years ago. We
Yeah.
kind of under talked Africa in a way. Well, Africa is not underdoing the Web3 things. Like when people are not talking about like Africa south to Sahara, I believe the people there are figuring it out and making it happen, even if the heat map for attention is not like totally there. I know Africa process around 70% of like the global like mobile like transferring market that's in the billions, right, in the trillions even. And I know most of the most of the adults, which is around like 40%, the adults of Africa south of Sahara, uh, have a Web3 wallet, or have some type of business that's attached to it, and that's
Yes.
indirectly related to it. And one third of the user does not have any other financial service channels, which is crazy. That tells me not only Web3 is a cool thing, a good thing, and a stabilizing thing for them to do, but also that's something like a bread and butter for many businesses, like the
Yes.
lifeline for them.
Thankfully, I've been able to attend several Web3 conferences, and I've met with a lot of regulating bodies in Nigeria with regards to Web3 and digital assets. And like you rightly said, there's a lot of money and liquidity moving around the world, especially now in Africa. And Nigeria pops up as a name that is to be reckoned with. And not just Nigeria, we also have Kenya and Ghana. And I must also say that one of the limiting factors of Web3 and especially stable coins is and digital assets is something that houses are not compliant ready, and they will have challenges entering Africa. And if the regulatory bodies in those countries are not welcoming towards crypto or Web3 or blockchain as a whole, it now holds a bottleneck for businesses and startups from venturing into emerging markets like Africa.
Wow, that's so crazy. That's also regarding the entrepreneurship in the emerging economies. We talk about fulfilling the American dream and doing a business like in America, in Western Europe, and we talk about that a lot. But in the emerging economies, that is really something that we under talk, but yet lots of people in the industries are actually getting their hands on without telling us. That's how they get 100x, right? So my next question for you, John, is if you have a message to those who are just starting out for Web3, like for someone who wants to move into Web3 business developing or just Web3 in general, um, I would ask you, what would you encourage them to focus on right now?
Yeah, good question. Um, this is a career series, and it's important to delve into the career aspect of this topic. Now, like you have asked, those that want to enter Web3, they need to understand the skills they have. And Web3 is kind of divided into two, where we have non technical skills and technical skills. So if you assess your skills and you discover that in Web 2, you already have technical skills and or you have non-technical skills, then those technical skills are what are transferable. The attractive thing about Web 3 is that the skills in Web 2 are still very much relevant in Web 3 because there are lots of projects going on, there are lots of new projects coming up, and these founders they're going to be needing these skills in order. It's not just technical alone, not just to develop something, but there's need for designers, there's needs for people who are into communication, marketing, and even risk management as a result of ensuring that people's monies are safe or people's digital currencies are safe. So it's the advice I also give is that just as you are developing yourself to understand the entire nature of Web3,
That's very cool, John. I like just talking to you about like those technicalities and the methods, right? And also the DAO of Web3. It's for a lot of people, Web3 are not really that unfamiliar, right? For people like you, John, you uh, you're a little bit ahead of a lot of people, and in a very niche market too. But I would say definitely in the norms are people who are not in Web3 or who are trying to get into Web3 or who are just familiarizing and on the fence, thinking about if they want to get into Web3. Like I like how you said that basically they need people in communication, they need people in marketing, and this and that. There, it is not only for people who are into cryptos. Like the myth. The myth is that it's only for people who are into crypto, into blockchains, into technology nerds that can get into Web3. Web3 actually has like. Would you agree that my my statement is that Web3 has a spot basically for everybody that's got a talent and also want to contribute in it because it's such a big concept.
Yes, that's rightly said. Um, that's very much rightly said. Web3 accommodates transferable skills, and just like you said, most people have the misconception that it's only developers that are in Web3 and crypto space. But the truth is that the entire ecosystem of things that happen in Web3, we need all these specialized skills from different areas of knowledge. So marketing, risk management, graphics design, and community management, they are all very much needed because people need to be onboarded onto this project so that there can be some usage of the product and it will now translate into revenue. So it's a tree that has many branches. The developers alone cannot do this, and that is why I encourage would be Web3 career seekers.
Yeah, cause yeah, that's it's very inspiring for me to for uh for you to express the idea that like really like everybody can get involved in Web3. And
Correct.
another thing that we really talked about was stablecoin, right, John? And I want to ask you like where are stablecoin payment like really actually being used?
Yeah,
Like those system, those rails being used in Nigerian B2B transactions right now.
yeah. Stablecoins are actually the use cases for stablecoins in Nigeria is mostly revolving around remittance, right? Where people are able to collect their monies for doing different types of tasks, for doing different types of gigs, working on projects remotely for foreign companies. So stablecoins is a means of payment to all of these people that are doing these jobs. You know, something like a gig economy, right? So stablecoins is used a lot in the remittance aspect of things in Nigeria, and also it's also used to cross border payments, where businesses in Nigeria are able to invoice um, other businesses outside Nigeria for supplies, and as a result, they're able to create wallets and and use USDT, USDC to ensure payments are being made quick and easy to their counterparts in other countries. So this encourages global trade, and the beauty is that the it's very fast. So and Nigerians are kind of people that they don't like to play with their money. So they ensure that with the volatility of the currency, especially the naira, they always like to hedge their money and keep it safe so that it will not be eaten away by depreciation, or rather inflation of the monetary system. So those are the use cases and the areas that Nigerians actually love using. What's it called? Love using stable coins.
Yeah, cool. Uh, Very well said. Thank you for your answer, John. Stablecoin, from what I researched, stablecoin takes around 40% of the market cap, for the crypto market in Nigeria, which is obviously led by USDT, USDC, and Nigeria is the biggest
Hello?
wire receiving country in Africa, and 2023 had received
Hello?
around oh, John, can you hear us?
Yeah, you got cut off there. Can you hear me now?
Oh, John, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you crystal clearly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. As I said, yeah, 40% of the crypto market was by stablecoin. I wonder, John, so in Nigeria, do you guys use USDT more or USDC? Which one is more really used?
Yes, use USDC more.
Wow, that's very counterintuitive because I know Circle is actually more regulated than USDT, and which made a lot of people want to prefer USDT to start quick. Is there like a reason why you guys use USDC more
Yeah,
for the
USDC.
preference?
Yeah, USDC is it's very fast, right? And the gas fees for USDC is it's much lower than USDT. Even though USDT is more prevalent on many exchanges, but USDC has superior speed, and it's lightweight, and that's why um, most people prefer to use USDC.
Yeah, because I know USDC, which is Circle, and it's actually more being considered more regulated in the United States, which made a lot of people not preferring USDC, and made a lot of people want to use Tether, and that really surprised me that Nigeria is really on the track. With regulation and compliance, they're actually leaning towards to USDC. Well, gas fee is also one of the extra benefits too. That's very cool.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And my next question towards you is that what does a company need to have in place legally, operationally, and in terms of partnerships before they can meaningfully launch in West Africa?
Yes, that is where we come in, because many companies that want to come into Nigeria, if they do not do their findings very well and they don't have people on the ground, they tend to get it wrong. Now, one of the most important things legally to do is to ensure that they are in touch with the regulatory bodies of the countries that they want to um, start in, and they are familiar with the licensing framework of starting in those countries, so that they will not be on the wrong side of the regulations and start paying heavy fines. So that compliance level is important to be taken care of on the legal side. Then operationally, you would always want somebody who has depth knowledge of the market, who has the necessary contacts, and is able to bring in users so that you hit the ground running when you are able to launch or start. So those are the things needed to be able to get full steam ahead by companies that are venturing into emerging markets in Africa, in Nigeria to be specific.
Like, how does like Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana looking for the crypto market and for the Web3 entrepreneurship wise?
You said?
So my question was like for like Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, maybe some other countries in West Africa, would you say like what like how is the Web3 entrepreneuring and stablecoin looking like in their markets? Do you know?
Yeah, it's like Ghana, like you just mentioned, recently just rolled out a sandbox on the frameworks that is regulating digital assets in their country. So it shows that they are embracing crypto, they are embracing digital assets and Web3 as a whole. And Kenya as well, they've also instituted DeFi pilot groundwork on framework as well to ensure that the environment is suitable and friendly for the promotion of Web3 entities. So the Africa is doing a lot now to position itself in the global market with regards to Web3, and things are open.
Seems we're having a little bit technical issue. Let's give her like let's give him like another few secs. It is a technical issue. But after all, I hope all my questions really was helpful for the people in the audience. We do have a quite of an audience today. I don't know everybody in the audience, but I know some of you guys. Some of you guys are people who are my friend for almost 8 or 9 years, and some of you guys were people that had helped me to understand Web3 a little bit more. So in my perspective, what's very important and also what's very helpful for somebody like John to speak representing the West Africa market for Web3 and also in our Mighty DAO's career series is that it tells a few things. First, Web3 can cover anywhere around the globe, and it will make us connect and collab and work together more neatly, and also have more ownership on the results, on the things more than ever before. And the second takeaway for me from John's interview was also there's never a market that's too small to start with, and there's never a market that's like too big to be overly competitive. Web3 is indeed the future. It compensates us on a lot of things that we very greatly undercompensated before. Our data, our privacy, our ownership on our work, and also just a sense of culture. Not only taking the humanity into the hands of all the grasps of the big organizations, those mighty giants in their industries, but also giving a lots of agency, ownership, and also benefits to be able to enjoy the work you have and just communicate with the others who think alike. And John, glad to hear you again. Are you logging with another account?
Nice to be back. I guess,
Oh, good.
yeah.
It's all good. Yeah, I was just basically summarizing a little bit our conversations together. With that being said, I think we might have to skip my last question that was planning on giving to you, John, and I might just have to chit chat with you on LinkedIn because that was a question regarding more like the recruiters look for. But if you have like 20 seconds, I kind of still want to ask you, like, what do you think most recruiters need to look for when they're trying to source talents for like Web3 roles, and maybe Africa facing too?
Yeah, what recruiters need to look for is talents on the ground, people that have things to offer in terms of their knowledge base, and skill, not just credentials, not just certifications or LinkedIn certifications. They should have it's about their network, and also their proof of work, what they are able to showcase. Those are what recruiters should look out for. So because it's more like what your credibility is based on what you're offering. You should be able to do deal tear downs, and you should be able to give you know live inside the community, look at the gaps that are in that community, and bring out solutions on how things can work out. So that those solutions you are able to pinpoint are more or less your proof of work. So and they build your portfolio. So those are the things that recruiters should be looking out for, especially Africa facing candidates.
Yeah, that's great. For me, what you have to adapt to is you need to take the heat too. You need to love the people. That's also another thing how you can adapt to the African-facing Web3 roles, which I think which will be very possible for lots of people who get into Web3 career. They might be getting Africa-facing roles, and that could be a really good market to get into.
Yeah, it's definitely a good market to get into. I Africa is very welcoming, and the economy is booming in terms of emerging, and the products from Web3 are actually on the increase. It takes my mind back to why companies like Mastercard are putting their network, their companies into stablecoins after acquiring BVNK, for $1.8 billion. So that shows you that the eyes on Africa is certainly bright, and they've seen the remittance, and they've seen all the use cases that like Africans as a whole, because there's a lot of unbanked Africans actually. So this is a way to bring people onto the decentralized network, so that it's trustless, and there's a single source of truth. So people can always have their digital assets kept safely. So Africa is the place to be, and I encourage a lot of web founders out there to be able to take hold of this golden opportunity.
Wow, that's so cool. But wow, those are some rapid firing questions and you handled them really well, John. I can see why you can be entrepreneurial and also switching from such an industry that's so different from what you're doing right now. So thank you so much, John, for your wonderful insights. And I am sure everyone is as amazed by your experiences as I am. Now it's time for the audience to ask John questions, which will be also the last session of today's interview. Please click on the microphone button below to request the permission to speak, and the host of this meeting will approve your request. And this is a very rare opportunity to learn about business development roles and ask questions to someone as experienced as John that working in the emerging economy such as West Africa, such an exciting place too. Don't hesitate to make the most out of it and ask all the questions that you have. So our Q&A session starts now.
Alice, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, John, I can totally hear you.
Okay,
We're waiting for the request to be granted to the question asker on the Q&A session. Just give it like 1 sec. Oh, I see Raymond is getting on.
yes. Hello, Raymond. Hello, Rocky. Could you hear me?
Hello.
Okay. Any song?
Hello.
Yeah, your
Uh,
mic work just fine, Raymond. Go ahead.
okay. Hello. I have a question about. Could you share with us one of your most memorable and challenging experience in the BD negotiations?
Okay. If I heard you right, you want to know a memorable experience in my business development negotiations. Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. To start with, I've been involved in various industries. My business management capabilities has spanned from fintech to telecoms and industrial automation and other industries like that I've worked in. So from my experience, I've been able to because
Can say as John is not here, but I still want to um, wait like a few secs, see if he can come back and answer Raymond's question. Hey, John, are you with us now?
I
Uh-huh.
guess some technicalities involved.
All good, all good. Yeah, we gotta beat up those people who build the Wi-Fi for you, those Web2 people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, Raymond's question was on your most challenging experience in BD negotiation. Please go ahead, John. All
Yeah,
yours.
my most challenging experience in BD negotiation had to do with working with some banks, right? And the situation is that banks are used to legacy systems, and they don't they like compliance as well in order to because that's what traditional banking is built on trust, right? So, in order to sell some Web3 products to them, the challenge I had was that most of them are not really familiar with crypto and Web3 as such. So, it took a lot of education from my part about Web3 for them to be able um, for me to be able to, get across to them. So they would rather prefer instead of um, using terms that are more Web3 inclined, they would prefer a Web2 alternative to terms. Like if I told a CTO, I mean a CFO, a chief financial officer, that I'm bringing a settlement solution for them. They are probably they warm up around it. So that challenge in understanding the whole concept of Web3 is something that has to do with education. It's more of 70% education and 30% selling. So that is one of the biggest challenges that I face in the whole scenario or selling to customers. So that challenge is really something that as a Web3 person you have to be updated on the things that are going on in that industry, and you have to be able to educate your users. So at the end of the day, I was able to educate them, and that gave birth to a series of classes. And at the end of the day, they were able to adopt my solution and products. So that was a very memorable challenge I experienced.
Yeah, to eventually be accepted, that's definitely award after the beat her out and like the scene when you climb the mountain all the way up. That's so great. By the way, Raymond was someone that I came to know like a few months ago, and he's in the business development atmosphere too. You guys should get connected and talk about it, and make some dollars together.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, Roger. Thank you, John. Maybe we can connect in
That,
yeah, LinkedIn. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Are you based in Taiwan too?
Yes, yes, in Taiwan.
Okay, that's great. There's a
yeah,
lot of connection to establish. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
he can fly
thank
to
you,
West
John.
Africa, and you can go to Taipei, and you guys can do some damage together, you know. Okay. Next speaker, if you have requested, you can go ahead now. All yours.
Can you just hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, John, nice to meet you. My name's Kyle. So yeah, I live in the U.S. Yeah. So my question is, you worked on bringing stablecoins into real business settlement. Could you share a specific example of how this worked in practice, and what surprised you most about the process?
Yes, John. Yeah. Do you need Kyle to repeat the question again?
Sure, sure. I'd love to hear his question.
Okay. So Kyle, please repeat the question. Sorry for the technical issues again.
Hi, John. Yeah. So my question is, you've worked on bringing stablecoins into real business settlement. Could you share a specific example of how this worked in practice, and what surprised you most about the process?
I didn't get that clearly.
Yeah, so I'll repeat it one more time. So you've worked on bringing stablecoins into real business settlement. Could you share a specific example of how this worked in practice, and what surprised you most about the process?
Okay. That's an interesting question. Yeah. Stablecoin is a very useful currency that digital asset to use in business. And the business case for this in Nigeria that I've been involved in is being able to make payments with um, especially in the import and export arena, right? Where we have somebody who wants to, you know, make invoice, export some import goods from overseas into to Nigeria. So those in that scenario, we have the Nigerian counterparts that has to, you know, exchange his naira and change it to USDC, right? And from there, he needs to put the USDC in his wallet, and he's able to use it to make payments to his counterparts in a cross-border payment. Now, that is what we call on ramp. Then the counterpart is meant to collect the payment, which is done very fast, unlike traditional finance, which would have taken 2 or 3 days to happen. And the other counterpart is able to convert the money or the USDC into fiat money, and that is off ramps. So the process that surprises me the most is that in Nigeria specifically, um, a lot of exporters and importers are happy to go that route, knowing them that it's going to save them a lot of money. So that's a good surprise, and something that enables adoption for stablecoin usage in Nigeria.
Oh, that's very
Hello?
cool. Thank you so much, John. Yeah. By the way, Kyle is a friend of mine that we know each other for a few years. Kyle went to Harvard Medical School, Brigham Young University, and was a cross-registered student for Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So he definitely threw some questions that John even think, oh, that was interesting. And there's one spot left right now for our Q&A session. Whoever is requesting to speak next, please go ahead.
Hi, Rocky and John. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Cool. Yep. Thank you for sharing your experience today, John. And I am curious, what are the key skills for a BD in a Web3 world? And how do you analyze the market trends and the users' need in this industry? Thank you.
Yeah, nice question. Um, one of the major skills in for a BD in Web3 is the ability to communicate effectively, because it's the whole essence is to be able to build trust, right? So if you are able to gain the trust of your user, it enables onboarding. You have a successful onboarding. Then among other important skills is, like you just already mentioned, is to be able to understand the market. That's why it's important to be able to establish and get knowledge concerning the market. That's the market intelligence, very, very important. So this allows you to analyze the markets to know what is happening, and it allows you to even know new projects that are coming up, like CoinGecko, yeah, then and Dune Analytics. They help in shaping your market intelligence with regarding to Web3 products and projects as a whole. So this is very key.
Wow, that's very cool.
Thank you, John. Well said. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys all speak very good English, you know? I just enjoy listening to you guys. Okay, well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for staying with us for such a very unusual night with me being the host interviewing our friend John Olumuyiwa Abereoje, who operates a hotel before that transferred into Web3 and founded Alexis John Consulting. Works really hard and really smartly in the West Africa market. Thanks so much, John.
Yeah.
I am sure everyone here has gained a lot from you today, and now has a much deeper understanding because of you for Web3 payments and in GTM strategy and what it truly takes to build in emerging markets. That just sounds exciting. It sounds so sexy when you even talk about emerging markets, that two words, right? And if you are, you have any takeaways, we'd love for you to share them with us on X, which is Twitter, formerly Twitter. Mighty DAO will continue to invite Web3 professionals from around the world to share their career experiences, challenges, and success tips in the industry. This interview will also be available on our podcast channel, Inside Web3 Careers, which can be found on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Feel free to listen again anytime, and don't forget to share the recording with your friends. Obviously, after we edit the first for all the rocky starts and the rocky endings, it just says my name. And once again, a huge thank you to John Olumuyiwa Abereoje, the founder of Alexis John Consulting, for his time and the valuable insight tonight. And thank you all for all participants to join us. Thank you, John.
Yes, I'm very grateful for having me today. I'm also thankful for the wonderful audience, Raymond, and the other people that have asked me very interesting questions. I one thing that is very key here is that we need to tap into this stablecoin market, and payments is something that is revolutionizing the world today. And that is why Visa, MasterCard are especially trying to, build on this and to gain the market as quickly as possible. And I also want to encourage everyone that's interested in Web2. I mean, from trying to move from Web2 to Web3. Yeah, it's something very doable. You need not to be afraid. Just understand the concepts of blockchain and tokenomics and everything that has to do with cryptocurrencies. Yeah, you familiarize and try and join a community. And DAO is one of those communities that is already gaining ground. And there are several other communities as well. So live in them and try to, do tear downs of deals. And then as a web development person, as a business development person, and then from there, you'll be able to gain a lot of ground. You have a wonderful portfolio under your belt, and that will take you far.
Wow, so great, so well said. And never be afraid of anything in such atmosphere, and certain things will definitely take you further than others. Thank you so much, John. Thank you again. A huge thank you to everybody who participated today. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you next time.
Okay,
Thank you
you,
so much.
Rocky. Thank you, John. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.